had a great time in WWE. I know the future is bright.
Polish trend.
I signed for 5 years. I had already told myself after this 5 years, I got to go do something else.
So a lot's changed since the last time you were on the show.
Exactly. Free agent now.
You feel like you still need to prove yourself.
I feel like I do, but outside of wrestling,
A hindered Jinder.
can never be hindered.
Who is Raj?
I got to figure out myself.
Was there talk of you being in the Rumble this year?
I was ready to be in the Rumble. The list came out and I wasn't in it.
Is one of your best matches against Seth Rollins?
That's one of my favorite matches. It's a highlight match for myself.
What are you most proud of in your WWE runs?
It's not one moment. It's the whole thing, the journey.
I guess a lot's changed since the last time you were on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Free agent now. Free to do
How does it
whatever.
feel? You're like, as of right now,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
free.
No, it feels great. I always have a positive outlook on things, on life. I know the future is bright. I get to explore other avenues, business ideas that I have, other stuff outside of wrestling we can touch on later. But yeah, I'm excited. And obviously wrestling, the independent scene is amazing right now. I got some bookings coming up. My calendar's getting full. So yeah, it's awesome. Had a great time in WWE, had a great run. And I was always smart with my money. I always invested it. So now I have the luxury of doing whatever I want.
I felt bad when the other interview came out. Like, we'd obviously recorded that. It was very clear we'd recorded that WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
It was scheduled to come out that day anyway. And then the unfortunate news came that weekend that you were released. And I sent you a message and I was like, is it still okay with you if we put this out? You're like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Oh, no, it's good. Yeah. There's no hostility. There's no negative feelings at all with WWE. Very grateful for them for all the years of the platform they provided me. So yeah, it was amazing.
It's just funny. It's only 90 days later now.
Yeah.
And it feels like you're already in like a completely different chapter of your life.
Yeah. So actually, during WrestleMania week, myself and Indus we talked to TR. They were wanting to go back to India. A few months prior, Veer had a religious event that he holds. It was a 1-year anniversary of his father's death. He got told that, no, we're needed for Raw. He can't go back home. Sangha is also from India. He wants to go back home. And we were told no. They were told no, we're needed on Raw. And sure enough, that week we weren't booked. We were just sitting at home. So they were quite frustrated. And also myself started off the year with The Rock, had the WWE Championship match. Then 1 week later, I'm not in the Royal Rumble, which I thought was very weird.
Yeah.
So we talked to TR. We just said, hey, listen, like, if there's nothing for us, we can go our separate ways. And sure enough, a few months later, we went our separate ways.
So did you ask for your release?
We didn't ask. It was just kind of like, hey, like let's, if there's no plans, then, we can discuss going our separate ways. So actually, my contract, I signed for 5 years in 2019. In April, but they had added on 18 months for injury time, and that was what was remaining on my contract. Whatever I had signed for the 5 years.
Yeah.
And when I signed for that 5 years, I had already kind of told myself, hey, like after this 5 years, I do these 5 years, and I got to go do something else now.
It just seems so interesting because The Rock's obviously approving who he works with at this stage of the game that he's at now.
Yeah.
So when he does that segment, January 1st with you, which we did talk about last time, that was so brilliantly done, right? The return of a former WWE champion. You come out, mega heat, then Rock comes out, mega babyface reaction before he turned heel.
Yeah.
So obviously Rock's going, yeah, Jinder, like, sounds great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
How does it go from that at the start of the year to a few months later?
Yeah, nothing. That's what was frustrating, but that's okay because that's what WWE is, and it's time for the next generation. It's time for the Braun Breakers and the Carmelos, right? It's their time. I had my time, and maybe my time will come back, but it's time right now to step away and do other things. And if it works out in the future, we come back. If not, it's all good. There's plenty of other things to do. Yeah, exactly as you said. Starting the year off with The Rock. World title match. Then
Tony Khan got you that world title match.
Yes, he did. Exactly. Yes, thank you, Tony. And then like WrestleMania week, I'm in a 2-segment match with Tozawa on main event. So obviously there's frustrations, but it's all good. Right? I have many years there. I've done everything that I wanted to do. And yeah, it's a young man's game.
How does this release feel different from the one 10 years ago in 2014?
Yeah, this one is much different. I am a grown man now. I'll be turning 38 the day after this interview airs. So yeah, it's just I'm at a different point in my life. I'm at peace with it. I've had a great career because at that time, when I got released, the best thing I had done at that point was be in 3MB. You know, now I've been a WWE champion. I've been in WrestleMania. I've headlined pay-per-views. I've done everything. I've traveled the world, and I'm in a different place financially. So yeah, a lot has changed, right?
Well, you got your job back last time because you put in the work to get it back, right? Like you proved yourself. What do you do now? Where do you go from here now? Do you feel like you still need to prove yourself?
Yeah. I feel like I do, but in different avenues outside of wrestling now. As I mentioned earlier, business.
Hey, you just did a TV show, right?
Yeah. I was in a show while I was in WWE on ABC called Big Sky. I did a whole season. So I've recently did a few auditions. Didn't get anything though, but all good. Something will come around.
While you're here in Hollywood, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, any talent agents out here, gonna go hang out.
Well, drive down Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah,
You can stick your head out the window.
Try to get scouted, right? Yeah, exactly.
So you've got a lot of other irons in the fire, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working on some stuff. Yeah.
Okay, but still, wrestling's at the forefront.
Yeah, no, it is. Wrestling is my first love, right? I just love the business, and even wrestling on the independents now. It's that's how I started, and that's like when I think of like the best times in my career, when I was the most happiest, it was on the independents. So
not when you were WWE champion,
because with that is a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. That was a great time too, but the best time when it's the most fun is when it's low stress and it's just fun, right? Yeah. And I get to be around up and coming wrestlers, be around that young energy. It's motivating. Kind of how it was when I went to NXT a few years ago when I got paired with Indus Sher. I really liked being in NXT, just being around that young energy again, and it was motivating for me. It's kind of on the main roster, the locker room. You know, those guys have been there for years. Some guys are frustrated. Like, I don't know. Sometimes there's a lot of negativity.
You're in a spot now where you also get to pick and choose your
dates.
Pick
and choose my own schedule. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. If I feel like doing something, I do it. If I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it.
If you've got a friend's wedding coming up and someone offers you an indie book, and you can say, no, sorry, I'm busy that weekend.
Exactly. And that's something my entire time in WWE, I had never asked for time off. The only time I ever had off was they didn't need me or I was injured. I never asked for time off. Because I think now it's more it's normalized in a way, requesting time off. But when I started, no time. Like, it's not a thing with the way Vince ran WWE, because he never really took time off. So it was just kind of a thing you just don't do. And I always had that mentality, like in WWE. My fiance would always get frustrated. Like, she'd have a wedding or some sort of event or want a vacation, and she could never understand why I don't have vacation time. But I could have asked, and like, especially now with the new regime running the company now, I think it's normal now. Guys get weeks off. I just was stuck in that mindset.
I would feel like it would come from a place of fear of, like, if I take 2 weeks off, someone's going to slide into my spot.
Yeah, and also that, and you're scared about just your job in general.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know. That's how it was ever since I was in FCW. Just like, it's a grind. There's pressure. Like, you don't ask for time off. There's just things that you do and you don't do, and you don't ask for time off.
There was a lot of love from the last interview that we did. If you look at the comments, there is a lot of love for you as a person and for Jinder Mahal as a character.
Yeah.
With maybe some of the frustrations you've had over the last year or so in WWE. Did that come as a surprise to feel that love?
Yeah, definitely. I generally get a lot of hate online, but it was one of those rare instances where I got to show my real personality, because people have actually. This happens to me all the time. I meet people and they're like, "Wow, like you're not what we expected."
You're nice.
Yeah, you're nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yeah, maybe it's the Canadian in me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always respectful, polite. And yeah, just the Jinder Mahal character was the complete opposite of me. Like some guys, their wrestling characters is their personality turned up. Mine, not so much. It was something completely different.
There are some things in life that are okay to be a total crapshoot, like trying a new type of milk in your coffee, or checking out the new takeout spot down the road, or a cheap impulse ad buy on Instagram. But finding a new doctor shouldn't be a crapshoot. And with ZocDoc, it's not, because you have more options than you know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, from eye care to skin care, and so much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours, but like the one I got recently, sometimes you can score a same-day appointment. I use this, and you should too. I just booked my dermatologist using ZocDoc, and don't worry, everything is okay. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/insight to find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/insight, ZocDoc.com/insight.
How did you find the balance of who Jinder Mahal was?
Yeah. The thing is, I never really took it too seriously. Like, I was always myself. Some people take the business very seriously, like the wrestling character becomes their real life. Like, I always separated the two. My alone time, I was always myself, stay grounded. Yeah, and I never let things get to my head or certain position, because I've seen all sides of this business. I've been at the very bottom and I've been at the very top. So I just know, just stay true to yourself, because none of this lasts. This is all temporary.
Yeah, they hindered Jinder. That's what they did.
Never hindered Jinder. Can never be hindered.
I felt like it just seemed like it came out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that you're doing okay and you're
Yeah.
processing it well, and
Yeah.
you're excited about what the future holds.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's all good. When I had signed that contract, I had already kind of had my mind made up that in 2024, I was going to at least temporarily go away from WWE.
Drew McIntyre said something very nice after you got released. He tweeted out, "We showed them once, now show them again, brother."
Yeah, let's see. Drew McIntyre showed him more than I did, but
That's not true. You came back, became champion. He
I
came back,
WWE
became
champion before Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Don't you forget that. So
Yeah.
no, Drew's the man. What Drew is doing right now is incredible. This is the best version of Drew I think the WWE Universe, the fans have ever seen. I can't believe I said WWE Universe. The fans, I'm not in that bubble anymore. I don't need to use these words.
Can you go to a hospital now, or do you have to go to a local medical facility?
Yeah. No, Drew's the man. He's like a brother to me, and to see him in this position, he just signed a new contract, so he'll be there for a few more years, and he's just something about him, man. Like he's incredible.
Just looks like he's having fun.
Yeah, having fun. Yeah. I just don't think he cares anymore, and that's usually when the best comes out. Like CM Punk.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about anything.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the best.
When did you get to that point in your career?
I never really did. or when I did, like I never, recently.
Or maybe you're there now.
Yeah, I'm there now, but I'm not in a prominent position to have fun and enjoy it in WWE. I will.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited for this indie run, because I just having fun, right? There's no stress, there's no pressure.
Yeah.
I get to be myself. Nobody tells me.
I don't feel like
what
this
to
is just
say.
going to be an indie run.
Okay, yeah, indie or yeah.
You're going to be back on TV.
Yeah. Where
soon.
if I'm back on TV, wherever it is, I'm going to be myself. And if I can't be myself, then I'm not interested in going.
Yeah, who's Raj? Who is Raj? We've known Jinder Mahal for your whole career.
Yeah. It's a good question. That's maybe something that I got to figure out myself too, right? And this is the perfect opportunity to explore different things.
Yeah, because so you're the modern day Maharaja, right?
Just the Maharaja.
Just the Maharaja.
Yeah,
You've
no
trademarked
Maharaja.
this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the Maharaja.
Yeah.
But you're wrestling under your real name.
Yeah, Raj Desi. Yeah, Raj Desi. Yeah, so I get to be myself and do anything I want to do. If I want to try something, I do it. want to say something, I'll say it.
That's the beauty of the indies too.
Yeah.
Beauty of the indies is you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work in this specific town on this specific weekend,
Yeah.
go try something else next weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. I just needed to get away from the WWE system. I've been there for so long. Everything's micromanaged, especially when you're wrestling on TV. Every minute, all the spots are already kind of discussed, so you can get the best camera angles. And we know the commercial break's coming at this time. This is the break spot. This is where we come back. We lose time. We get added time. Right now, it's blank canvas.
Yeah. Looks like you've dialed in your fitness.
Yeah, I just did. Yeah. Recently just started. So I'm going to be in good shape coming up there. I mean, I already am.
Going to be in good shape.
Yeah, I like staying in good shape. I genuinely have like a passion with fitness and dieting. And maybe it's something that I want to do after wrestling, coaching, or I really want to open a gym someday. But I'm hearing it's
not a wrestling gym, just a gym.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a wrestling ring in there too. Maybe we'll see. But just like a really good gym, like a gym that I would want to train at.
But you were saying, I've heard that's not a good idea.
I've heard it's a terrible business idea. Or like the success rate is not very high.
Well, I think it's because you have to put up so much capital because the equipment's not cheap.
Yeah.
And then now you've got to be.
You compete with the big chains, the Crunches, and all these Golds.
LA Fitness.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And you're opening up Raj's gym.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've had to put up 6 figures just for all the equipment in there.
Yeah. But I do still want to do it.
I would sign up for a membership even if I only worked out there once a year.
Thank you.
So sign me up for that.
Thank you.
But it feels like you're with the videos you've been posting on Instagram, like you're ring ready.
Oh yeah. I always stay ring ready. Actually, while I was managing Indus Sher, when we got drafted to Raw, I was told that I'm no longer a wrestler. I'm just a manager. But I still stayed in shape.
They told you that?
Yeah. Because I was pitching. Well, the writer told me. I was pitching all kinds of storylines, like 6-man tags or matches for myself, where Indus Sher is managing me.
Yeah.
And nothing was happening. And I asked the writer. I said, "What's the deal? Am I?" And I also know this because I saw the roster sheet. Male heels, Raw, SmackDown, male heels, tag teams. I wasn't listed under male heels. There was male heel tag teams in this share, and I was in brackets. So as a manager role.
Wow.
Right. So I wasn't even listed as an active talent. And I asked the writer, I said, "Hey, was it discussed that I'm not wrestling anymore?" He said, yeah, it was brought up that you're just going to manage in this year. But then I had the match with Seth Rollins. Luckily, I was in shape already. Like I stayed in shape. Yeah. Because that could have went the opposite way, where I started eating desserts and catering every week. But yeah, no, I'm always ring ready. But motivation comes and goes, right? It's very hard to stay dialed in, super dialed in year round. Generally, if I know something big's coming up, it's a little bit easier. But now that I know that I get to spread my wings, it's motivation. Yeah.
You with hair and you without hair look like two completely different people.
Yeah. Actually, I made a mistake buzzing my hair off. I don't know what I was thinking. It was during COVID. I had a knee surgery and I was going to come back and I'm like, I got to look different. What can I do? I was like, shave my head. So I shaved my head in my garage during COVID. All the barbershops were closed. I shaved it and instant regret. Yeah. And I actually tried growing it back a couple times, but I can't get over that awkward phase.
But here you are 4 years later and you still shave your head. So it couldn't have been that big of a mistake.
No, it looks fine. But
it looks great.
But I just really like the long hair.
Yeah. But you're right though. Like months 2 through 4 or whatever.
No longer, 6, 7, 8. It's terrible time.
I mean,
yeah.
You could have had 90 days right now to grow your hair back.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah.
But then
maybe we'll see.
But then you'd be returning with the awkward phase then.
Exactly. Yeah.
I see what you mean.
I actually won the championship with the awkward phase. Yeah. If you go back and look.
You think?
Yeah.
I thought it looked great. No?
Not as good as when I could put it in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Because that's, when I put it in the ponytail was I can't remember. It was a Royal Rumble in Philadelphia. That was the first time. I grabbed a Elastic Band from the makeup table and I was like, let me try this. And sure enough, I had a ponytail. So that was a big day.
Was there ever talk of you being in the Rumble this year?
No, there wasn't. I was asking, and again, this was 2 weeks after the Seth Rollins match.
Yeah, so I mean, January was a huge month for
a week out. I asked one of the producers who I'm friends with, who was doing the Royal Rumble. I said, "Hey, am I in the Royal Rumble?" He's like, "I'm trying to get you in. Your name's been brought up, but as of right now, you're not in it." And I actually jokingly said, "Hey, diversity," and he's like, "Yeah, actually, someone did get in because of that." I was like, "What? I don't count." Day of Rumble, I brought my gear. I was ready to be in the Rumble, and the list came out, and I wasn't in it. Yeah.
But it feels like maybe, this is the thing that happens every year. Next year, the Rumble comes around.
Yeah.
Your name's going to float around there.
Yeah.
2026, the Rumble comes around. Your name's going to float around there.
It could, and I'll stay in shape, and I'll be ready if that opportunity comes. I would love to be in another Royal Rumble. That's actually one of my favorite pay-per-views. Is the Royal Rumble. Growing up, the Royal Rumble was my favorite match, and especially when like there's surprise returns, which there hasn't been in the last year or two.
There's been like the surprise NXT debuts.
Yeah.
But you're right. There
hasn't been.
Yeah. Like I love when there's a legend that comes back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when Diesel was in, not Kevin Nash. When
Diesel came in. Yeah.
That was a great one.
Yeah. I was in one, and Godfather was in it.
Yes.
Yeah, Godfather was in it. Booker T came back one time in one, and then he had like a few month run.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the cool thing about the Rumble.
Yeah.
Anyone could be in that.
Yeah.
But with the roster having so many people on there's only 30 spots.
Yeah. And it's a terrible feeling to not be in the Royal Rumble and to be there sitting in the back watching the Royal Rumble. Yeah. It happened to me in San Antonio too. The same year that I came back. When I was with Rusev. I think Rusev was in it, and I was hoping to be in it. And the list came out and I wasn't in it, and I watched it from catering. Yeah, that's a terrible feeling.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah.
So did you catch the interview that I did on 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway? I'm laughing because they referred to Blue Chew as steroids for your, well, you know what I'm talking about here. And while those are their words, not mine, I can't say that I disagree. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. And the process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And I think the best part about it is it's all done online, so no going to the doctor, no awkward conversations. Hey, how's everything working down there? No waiting in line at the pharmacy either. The bottom line here is Blue Chew wants to help you. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and your first month is free when you use our new code CVV. You guys used up the other code, so they had to make a new one for us. The code is CVV, and your first month is free when you use it. You just have to cover the $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Use my code. The new code is CVV, and your first month is free. You just have to pay $5 for shipping.
But you're reinventing yourself now. You're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's cool because it's kind of like the halfway mark of the year. You've got another half of the year to write your own story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah. There's no negative feelings or anything. It's all good.
Take me back to your WWE debut and the way that you came in with Great Khali.
Yeah.
Walk me through everything that was going on around that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in FCW for maybe 10 or 11 months, and I randomly get a call from talent relations. Kristen Altman calls me. She said, "Hey, we need a match and promo from you." So I filmed the match and promo. The match was actually against Tonga Loa.
Wow.
Yeah. Returning Tonga Loa. So we did the match, and then a few days later, I got another call saying, "Hey, you're coming to TV." So I get to TV, and I found out that I'm with Great Khali, which was awesome. Such a cool dude. And during that time, I got to travel with Khali. We had so much fun on the road. We're going on all the live events, just driving around with Khali and just seeing people experience him is a spectacle in itself, right? Like people's just jaws drop when they see him, and it was just an incredible time. So yeah, debuting with him, I believe we had a backstage segment. Rey Mysterio, Ranjin Singh, myself, and Khali. That was my debut in Greensboro Coliseum. First time I was on SmackDown in a backstage promo. Then the storyline was he was doing the kiss cam, and I came and I gave him a little paintbrush, like, hey, like reminded him like you're the giant. Like, what are you doing? Embarrassing yourself with this. And actually, I was Khali's brother-in-law, so I was married to his sister.
In kayfabe.
In kayfabe, yes. Yeah. Khali's brother-in-law, yes.
Did they pair you guys together because you both spoke Punjabi?
I think so, probably.
So then he'd have someone on the road that he could, converse with?
Yeah. At that time, his contract was about to come up, and he wasn't sure. They weren't sure if he was going to resign or if he was going to stay. So I think it was kind of almost like a passing of the torch on to me. But he ended up resigning, and then we were together for a little bit. And I think they wanted to keep him babyface, so that didn't last long. And then finally he gave me the big Khali chop and sent me on my way.
Do you consider yourself Canadian, or do you consider yourself Indian?
Both represent both cultures, Indo-Canadian.
Because it's when you won WWE, when you became the WWE champion, you were the first ever of Indian descent to be the first ever WWE champion. And of course, people were like, well, "What about Khali?" Well, he won the world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
But then you have people online that are going, "Well, he's Canadian." He was born in Canada.
But Canada's such a diverse country. You have, you have.
Right. My mom was born in Greece.
Yeah. In Canada, they say, "Oh, he's Indian or he's Punjabi." And I don't know. That's like that dichotomy of being Indo-Canadian. Like I'm not Canadian enough to be Canadian, but then like I'm not Indian enough to be Indian. So I don't know. Yeah. So, but I represent both cultures.
The like ice-breaking line when you're growing up in Canada is, where are you from?
Yeah, exactly.
And what they mean is like, where are your parents? Where's your family from?
Exactly.
Because for the most part, you're probably only one or two, at best, one or two, or maybe three generations removed. Like,
no, my parents immigrated.
Right. And my mom immigrated. But like all of your friends, like their parents were born in Italy or Greece or wherever. Like, it's funny how Canada is in that way. Where at best, you're first or second generation.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just a funny thing where it's like you can kind of be with both Indian and Canadian.
Yeah.
And be very proud of your heritage with both of those.
And that's what I want to do now. Now that I have the ability to do what I want, and that I want to represent both cultures, both countries.
Do you feel like there were opportunities in this most recent run in WWE where they could have taken things to another level? They could have worked on something that didn't really happen? Yeah,
especially with Indus Sher. So both of those guys didn't come from pro wrestling. Rinku was a baseball player, and Saurav was an actor and kickboxer. So they're brand new to this. They went to the NXT system, then they go to main roster, which has its own learning curve, right? And from day one, they came back from their first match, and I told Triple H, put us on the live events. Because what they need is experience. They just don't have enough experience, or the experience that maybe they were looking for, right? The experience with long matches. They mainly had shorter squash matches where everything was kind of laid out, right? I really wanted for them to experience a live event match where you don't call as much and you just listen to the crowd and you feel it. And I had even suggested there's two live events, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. I'll tag with one on one night, the other night I'll tag with the other one. I'll wrestle both nights. But we just never put on live events. I was put on live events alone for right after that Seth Rollins match for like 2 weeks. And then that was it. And they just never got the experience. And you get that from live events. There's no other way. You don't really learn much from TV matches because everything is, especially a squash match. You do, but not a squash match.
Yeah.
If you have 90-second match, you're planning everything like A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
You don't really get to feed off the crowd or change a match based off the crowd reaction. You do that on live events. So I think it was a missed opportunity not putting those guys on live events, because that would have got them to the next level, right? Like if they want to have a 15, 20-minute match with DIY, with all these intricate false finishes and saves and, the timing needs to be worked on, right? Timing is super important, and you get that from live events. And if you mess up, it's okay. It's not on live television. A million people or several million people around the world don't see it, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been the place to do it, but all good.
How did you and Rusev get paired up?
Randomly. That was when I started to get used more, because for a few months prior to that, when I came back, I was just on Main Event, wrestling on Main Event. A lot of times it was against Jack Swagger, and it's not on Raw, so nobody really saw me. And during that time, I had gotten in really good shape, and Vince had kind of seen it, and I think he wanted to kind of use me in a more prominent position. And Rusev at that time was a heel, and we had a program with Big Cass and Enzo. That was cool. The first time I ever main evented Raw was during that time. That was right before Rusev Day caught on. He was handsome Rusev at that time. With Lana was a manager.
Yeah.
It was a great time. I loved working with Rusev. He's a tremendous athlete. Miro, tremendous athlete, tremendous wrestler. It was just it was so much fun being with him, and with Lana also. And then he got injured. And that's when I became number one contender. He had a surgery for his shoulder at the same time. So when we split up, that's when I went solo.
When you look at your career, you've done it all, right? Like, you've been involved in all kinds of different things.
All levels.
Yeah, right. Babyface, heel, and
not so much babyface.
Yeah, well, there's fun stuff in there, right?
Yeah,
a lot of fun stuff, a lot of very serious stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, does this mean you want to work as a babyface?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to go in a deep cell and blow a hot comeback, 3 clotheslines. Come on.
Come on, baby.
I can't wait. Yeah. The only time we really did babyface stuff was in 3MB, like pseudo babyface, but some live events like in Scotland. I tagged up with Drew, Santino Marella, and Alex Riley against the Primetime Players and the Puerto Ricans.
What an incredible memory you have for this stuff.
For wrestling, I have a good memory.
Amazing.
In anything else, I can't remember any. I can't remember names. I can't remember anything, but I remember matches and I remember buildings. We can go into a building, I could tell you who wrestled who in this match, even other people's matches. Like, hey, we go to a building, hey, Drew, you wrestled so-and-so in this building. And they're like, what? How do you still remember this?
The amount of times I sit across from someone like this and they're telling stories and they get the opponent wrong or the year wrong, and then the comments are like, I think they meant this, and I think they meant this person.
Yeah.
You're like an encyclopedia of your matches.
Yeah. Let's hope it stays that way.
The stuff you did with the 24/7 championship was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
What were you doing on the golf course in full gear?
Yeah.
What was happening there?
About that. So I got a text. We were on live events that week, and I got a text from Adam Pearce. He was the agent on the live event. He texted me, hey, we got to go film this thing. So I could have just showed up in regular clothes, but I was like, nah, I got to go do it in gear. It'll be better. You got to commit, right? So
show up to a golf course
in gear.
Trunks.
Yes, in gear. Yeah, I didn't have any baby oil though. If you look, I don't have any baby oil, or I don't have a pump.
You're probably the only one who recognized that.
Yeah. So we go to this golf course, and luckily WWE had gotten permission already from this golf course, so it wasn't that awkward. It still was, but I showed up in trunks. We did the thing, and actually I didn't warm up or anything, and I threw up my back like really bad. And later on in that night we have the live event. But luckily a few hours later, Adam Pearce actually texted me, and I think he was kind of giving me the heads up, like, hey, sorry, like as it's written on the show, it's going to be ding, 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 and Alistair Black. Alistair's Black just going to give you his kick. And I just texted God bless with the hand emoji. I don't think I didn't say anything. I just said God bless. And then when I got to the building, I came like limping in. He's like, oh my God, what happened? I'm like, I threw my back at the golf course. I'm like, yes, please, this is a great finish. This is a great match. Just go. I walked to the ring, but barely, and just got kicked 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it worked out fine.
But if your back's already thrown out, does it hurt to take that bump?
No, I don't think I'd flat backed it. And you have adrenaline. Like,
right.
yeah. And actually, when I lost the champ, when did I lose it? On an airplane, on the tarmac. Sorry, I won it on the tarmac, lost it on the plane. We didn't have enough time. Like it was just like a spur of the moment idea. I was asleep, and one of the producers woke me up like, "Hey, we got to film this thing right now. Like, come." I wanted to get in my gear and do the tarmac like in the same way I did the golf course, but there wasn't enough time, so I did it like wearing track pants. But it would have been so much better if I would have had gear on.
That stuff on the plane was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was on a flight to Saudi, and just randomly we just did it. Yeah, it wasn't planned.
R-Truth turned the 24/7 championship around, because I remember when that was announced in 2019, and it was met with a lot of like, why didn't they just do the hardcore championship? That belt looks funny. Like, what's with it?
Yeah.
It didn't take long for R-Truth to get his hands on this and turn that whole thing around.
No, he did, and a lot of credit to R-Truth. He turns everything into gold. he's just incredible. Yeah, and like at that time in my career, like going like a year prior, I was in main events, or I was in a top, like a prominent position, maybe not at the top, but at least like upper mid card. Then going to the 24/7 championship, at first I was like, oh man, this is not good. But then it ended up being a lot of fun, and it got so many views, like millions of views. And we made the best of it.
Let's go back to Kali and the Punjabi prison match.
Yeah.
It feels like anything can go in one of those.
Yeah. So first off, the Punjabi prison match sucks. It's terrible.
In what way?
It's so hard. It's the inside cage is the blue old school cage, the cage match.
Yeah, like the 90s
You
cage.
can hit it as hard as possible and it won't even make a noise. Like, it was terrible. And then just the crowd reaction. They couldn't really see the people in the arena because there's two cages. So when we're on the inside, there's two cages. They couldn't really see. And it was just painful. Candlesticks, chair shots, everything. But then the great Kali. So actually, funny story. So I knew Kali was going to come. A few Singh Bros knew, Randy knew, nobody else knew. It was supposed to be a big secret. They have the Punjabi prison tarped off, like all the way from the roof, kick everybody out of the bowl, no security guard, like no one's in there. But they got to get Kali ringside to rehearse. So they like wheeled him in on basically like a buggy between crash pads. Like, what are you guys doing? They tried their best to hide him, but everybody saw him.
Hey, he's pretty big.
Yeah, he's pretty big. So
hard to hide him.
Yeah. Kali saved my championship. I won, and at the end he raised the championship like he won it. So it was good. Yeah, it was amazing. And actually, Kali's hand is so big. Like, he's patting me on the back, but it feels like someone's slapping me. Like, he's like, yeah, good job. He's slapping my back, and I'm trying to block it with my elbow. This is the last thing I want right now.
How did they put together even like the infrastructure of what this match is going to look like? Like,
I don't know.
Like, I'm sure somebody, who's much smarter than you or I comes up with what Hell in a Cell is going to look like, or Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
How do they come up with even just the idea?
I don't know. It was already thought of because they had two of them prior. Kali was in one, and then Undertaker and Big Show. Undertaker and Big Show in the first ever Punjabi prison match.
But you're right. There is something about those matches that they don't play well on TV. Like, it's difficult to see what's going on.
And it doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be the last Punjabi prison match ever.
Because of those reasons?
Yeah, it just didn't go over well.
Yeah.
Internet did not like it. So
you're right, though.
Yeah.
You're right with cage matches. There's like some flex there. It makes some noise.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell's the same thing.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber, when they throw them into the plexiglass.
Yeah.
It looks good, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Well, that's a notch in your belt, right?
Exactly.
I'm in the last Punjabi prison match.
In the last, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, maybe I'll have another one. Actually, I was supposed to possibly have one with Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. I think we just had a regular straight up match, and it was in Chicago too.
But there was talk of that.
There was talk of the Punjabi prison match coming back. Yes,
Oh.
me and Roman in the Punjabi prison match.
And then did he just say, I don't think so?
Yeah, just like Brock.
Yeah. So what happened with this match you were supposed to have with Brock? Survivor Series 2017.
So
The lead up was there.
Yeah. This is just my opinion. And obviously there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, right? And the headline came out, Brock Lesnar refused to work with Jinder. I don't think he refused. I just think he knew he probably pitched for a match with AJ because stylistically, it's a much better match. Me and Brock are both heels. Who's going to put heat on who? It was going to be a flat match, right? It would have just been him suplexing me a bunch of times, maybe Singh Bros get involved. But the match he had with AJ was phenomenal.
It was.
No pun intended. So, I don't think it was that he refused to work with me. I just think Brock has, he has some pull, and him and Paul Heyman probably said, hey, we should talked to Vince and said, hey, put the match with AJ Styles, which is okay. I have to lose a championship at some point anyway. I had it for 6 months. And I didn't know that I was losing the championship until the day of. We were in Manchester and we have the title match. We get to the building. Michael Hayes tells me and AJ, go talk to Vince, send us to Vince's office. So when Vince tells us, hey, to me, you're dropping the championship. Now you're going to chase it. AJ, you're winning it tonight. You'll work with Brock at Survivor Series. Then me and AJ at Night of Champions. One more championship match. And that was it. Yeah. I won it knowing this. Found out the same day I'm winning it. Lost it the same way. Found out the same day.
The thing that was exciting about that era is titles would change hands on TV.
Yeah.
Like for you to lose the championship on SmackDown, that has, I don't know the last time that happened, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like we're living in that time right now. Like when there's a title match on Raw or SmackDown right now, you're like,
you kind of already know who's winning. Yeah.
or
yeah.
it's going to be,
DQ. Yeah. DQ. Yeah.
Although I have a theory that when Raw goes to Netflix,
Yeah.
it's like fair game.
Yeah.
Anything's going to happen
Yeah.
to make people go, ooh, I need to tune in.
That's true. Yeah.
If it's on Netflix, I got to tune in.
I think they should do it more on live events too, because you go to a live event, you see title match, you kind of know it's not going to happen.
And they could do that with the Intercontinental title or tag titles or US title.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Even if you're in Europe for like a week on tour, change it one night, change it back to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes all over social media. Everybody knows, everybody finds out anyway, right? You don't need to, it doesn't need to happen on TV.
Yeah. And then enough people are filming it in the arena.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
WWE's filming it for their social team. It'll get out there
Exactly. Yeah.
just as quickly.
Yeah. I think it's something that needs to happen more.
Is one of your best matches against Seth Rollins, that inaugural NXT Championship tournament?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite matches. Yeah, exactly. So at that point, I was already on the main roster, and I would go to NXT on my day off. I was on all the live events at that time, and the concept came of the Gold Rush tournament. Drew was in there, Justin Gabriel, myself, maybe even Heath Slater from the main roster. Yeah, I think us four. Then I got to the finals. I actually wrestled Jason Jordan in his first ever NXT match, his debut in that tournament, round one. And I think Bo Dallas or EC3, maybe both matches I had. I think I had both. Final against Seth Rollins. Yeah, we had 3 segments. It was awesome. Because at that point, I hadn't had a long match or a title match, like a main event style match in WWE. So that was like the first one for myself also. And Seth is amazing. Wrestled him several times after that. I always loved working him. One of my favorite opponents. But yeah, that's definitely a match that is a highlight match for myself.
It just feels like it was one of those matches that kind of like, if people weren't aware of how good you were in the ring, they watch that match and go, oh, damn, like we got to stop sleeping on Jinder.
I think as a heel, not so much anymore. Everything changes, but at that time, especially for myself, and during the time that I was a champion, I was a heel. Especially the time that I was a champion, Vince wanted me only to work holds. He's like, I just want you to work holds. That's it.
Just to get you heat.
Just to get me heat. Yeah. The babyface will do all the exciting stuff. You just work holds. That's it. He just wanted me to put on holds and like cheat. Like if I have a hold, the babyface comes up, like pull his trunks down and put the hold back on. Like he loved that. Like that's all he wanted from me. Just flex, have long hair, get oiled up, and work holds. That's it.
That should be a t-shirt.
Yes. Yeah. Repeat. Yeah.
How did you get the name Jinder Mahal?
When I was in FCW, there was a guy, Matt Martellero. He was in charge. He was in charge of a little bit of creating and helping Dusty Rhodes. His duty was the names. So we came up with a list of first names and last names, and he really he decided, because I said like a bunch of first names, and he liked Jinder. We went to the list of last names. He's like, I like Mahal. So,
but your real name's a pretty good wrestling name too.
Yeah. Or I wanted to wrestle as my last name is Singh. Like all the Punjabi wrestlers, we have like a tradition.
Yeah.
Dara Singh, Gama Singh,
Ali
Ali Singh, Tiger Jeet Singh, Singh Bros. Like it's our, in a way, pro wrestling has a tradition in Punjabi culture. Like all the main pro wrestlers, even Kali, Punjabi. Before Indus Sher, there's been a few others since then, but like for a long time, starting from the original Great Gama, like late 1800s. Now that's modern Pakistan, but at one time it was Punjab. He was the Lion of Punjab. So Gama Singh, the original. So Singhs just have like a kind of like a lineage in pro wrestling. So I really wanted to keep Singh, but we ended up with Mahal.
I mean, Jinder Mahal's a pretty great name too.
Yeah. It was cool. Yeah.
How about wrestling Jeff Hardy? The work you did with him for the U.S. Championship.
Yes, yeah. That I had just gotten drafted to Raw. Won the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania. First week, drafted on Raw. Opened up the show with a promo with Kurt Angle as the GM. Jeff Hardy came out and we do the match. If you go back and look, the amount of heat that I got when I came out, and it was segment 1, kicked off Raw. The not first pick, they didn't have picks at that time, but it was like the first trade that was announced. Jinder Mahal to Raw. Jinder Mahal to Raw, and the promo that I cut, it was like awesome crowd reaction, and then Jeff coming out, amazing pop, him beating me, making him a Grand Slam champion at the same time, crazier pop. And then we went to Saudi Arabia for the rematch, and I got to clear the air about the botch that's super viral with Jeff Hardy hitting the whisper in the wind that doesn't touch me, and I take a bump, which I get a lot of flack for online. It was actually Singh Bro's fault. It was Sunil Singh's fault, because usually when we do anything from the top rope, he tells me I'm selling. He would say, not now, not now, not now, not now. Okay, now. So he's telling me not now, not now, not now, not now. And then I feel something touch my back. I was like, I don't know. It was just an instant reaction. I took a bump. But what I felt was actually just wind. That's how he gets the name, the whisper in the wind. I felt the whisper in the wind, took a big bump. And when we came back, I thought Vince was going to be pissed. And I was like, oh, Vince, sorry about the thing. At first, he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, the thing that I missed. He's like, ah! And he starts laughing. Luckily, he wasn't mad. He just had like a big laugh.
So were you feeling the wind of Jeff falling next to you?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The whisper.
I felt something. It was just like a little touch. I took the big bump, but it was Sunil Singh's fault.
They'll never remember all of the things you do right.
Yeah.
It's just funny though, like one little thing like that.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good for me because it wasn't my fault. It was Sunil Singh's fault.
Yeah. Push the blame to somebody else.
Sunil Singh.
Yeah, totally not your fault at all.
Never is.
What about wrestling in the Thunderdome? Because that was a big adjustment, but you were able to do some great work there.
Yeah. The first time I wrestled in the Thunderdome, I was actually injured during that time, but they had announced the Superstar Spectacle, which was going to air only in India. And I was on injury, but they announced it. And I told Triple H, I think 3 weeks prior, they announced it and it was going to happen like instant. Like 3 weeks later, the show was going to be filmed in the Thunderdome at that time at the Rays Stadium in Tampa. And I was in Orlando doing my rehab, and I told Triple H, I said, put me in this match. Put me on the show. I'll be ready. He's like, are you sure? Like, you're good? I said, yes, I promise you, I'll be ready. I did like a crash diet for 3 weeks. AJ Sims, Cement Factory, got me ready in 3 weeks.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. Got me ready in 3 weeks. I came in really good shape. We had a 6-man tag, me and the Singh Bros versus Drew and Indus Sher. And then I went back to recovery. So it was just the one-off. And then when I got ready to come back, now the Thunderdome is in Tampa at the USF. And I debuted with Shanky and Veer. At that time, a week prior to the debut, I talked to Vince. I said, hey, Vince, what do you think about me being paired with Indus Sher, Veer and Sangha? He said, great idea. I get to TV the next week. I see Veer and then I see Shanky. What's Shanky doing here? Sangha was in India and now he's landlocked. He can't come back. So they just stuck Shanky in there, which was cool too. And then after the draft, Veer went his own way, and then I stayed with Shanky for a little bit. When we started going back on the road, it was me and Shanky. Veer was on his own, coming for many weeks, many weeks.
Veer is coming.
Veer is coming.
Veer is coming.
Yeah. So that was a Thunderdome. It was fun. It was actually kind of like wrestling on a poorly attended indie show.
The good thing about the Veer is coming,
yeah,
me, it was just so funny to say that as a sentence. But the era of the vignettes seemed to be gone for a long time.
Yeah.
But when we grew up watching wrestling, late 90s,
the vignettes were awesome. Yeah.
So many vignettes.
Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon. Yeah, they were amazing.
I remember Kurt Angle's vignettes. Like, you knew everything you needed to know about that person before they debuted.
Yeah.
So by the time they debut, you know if you like them or you don't like them. You know a little bit of their backstory.
I think now with NXT, you don't really need vignettes.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't watch NXT that just watch Raw and SmackDown.
But everybody's online.
Everybody is online.
Everybody's online.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the work you did with Shinsuke Nakamura? Because there was some like racial undertones, overtones, if you will.
Yeah. No, there was one promo in particular, and recently I actually just seen Shelton Benjamin tweet that like if he could take back one thing in his career, it was a promo with Yoshitatsu. Same thing, kind of like a racial promo. So that day, I had the promo. I got the script from the writer. This is from Vince. He wants you to say this. I was like, oh man, I don't want to say, like, is there anything else we can do? He said, no, it's come from Vince. So I even asked Vince, like, this is going to get negative backlash. He said, no, don't worry. Who cares? It's not you. It's a character. It's just entertainment. So did the promo, was not happy with it, not proud of myself for doing it. Really wish that I could take that moment back, but fortunately I can't. And right when we came back, it got a lot of negative backlash. Like I remember coming back from Gorilla. I was still hanging out by Gorilla, and one of the social media managers came up to me and said, hey, like this is getting a lot of bad PR, and Vince wants to write like for you to tweet something, like a statement. I said, okay, cool. And he actually he came up with something, maybe the PR team wrote it, he came up with a statement. And as we were about to tweet it, he said, actually, Vince changed his mind. He said, no.
Just take the heat.
Yeah. So it was just one of those things where it is what it is. Not proud of doing it. But on the plus side, I don't think something like that, a promo like that, will ever happen again in WWE. Things changed, the regime changed, everything is much, much different now. That was a different era, different time. Under Vince, his style was different, and sometimes he was stuck in his ways.
The lines are so blurred though, because when a character on a TV show or in a movie does something like that, we don't
you separate the performer from the on-screen character. But for some reason in wrestling, in WWE, pro wrestling, it doesn't happen. The person is the character, and
I don't think Edward Norton is his character from American History X.
Yeah,
right? I just go, that's an actor with a great performance.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So funny in wrestling how It can't be separated.
Yeah, and that was the explanation that was given to me, and like that's I was like, all right, fine, we'll do it. Okay, we'll do it.
What are you supposed to say though?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah,
putting you in a bad spot.
Yeah, I had asked, like, can we do something else? Is there anything else we can do? I was told no. This is what Vince wrote, and you can either do it or you take your ball and go home.
What are you most proud of in both of your WWE runs?
What I'm most proud of is from where I started before WWE. Like I started with a bus pass. Took the bus to go training. Everything, struggled, came up, set up rings, did everything that I needed to do to learn the business to the heights that I reached, becoming WWE champion. Like the journey, I'm most proud of the journey. That's what I'm most proud of. It's not one moment, it's the whole thing, the journey. Because the journey is the best part, right? All these achievements, they're cool, but the journey, the things you experience, the struggles, that's the best part.
I feel like you're still on this journey.
Yeah, of course. The journey never ends. Yeah.
Is there a rejuvenated like fire inside of you?
Yeah.
Over these last 3 months?
Definitely. Yeah. There is. Yeah. And I needed this because I was like not phoning it in, but I was told I'm a manager now.
Yeah.
And like that's my role. And on the inside, I want to do more. So just a lot of frustration. So now, no more frustration.
Yeah.
Just optimism.
Yeah, you seem like you just put a positive spin on everything. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I have to do, right? Because
but there's a lot of people that could go, oh man, that was my dream job. It was taken away, and like I'm going to do everything I can.
Yeah, but the thing is, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
I had a 12-year run with WWE between both runs, 12 years on the main roster. That's amazing. Got to do everything, right?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all good.
Yeah. So I'll ask you the same question that we wrapped the last interview up with.
Yeah.
And by the way, thank you for making the time to do this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming out here. Great to have you in the studio. Maybe we can get you another audition here. And
Yeah.
What are 3 things you're grateful for now?
I'm trying to think of what I said last time. Okay, I'm grateful for...
You can say the same answers.
Yeah. I'm grateful for the future because it's going to be bright. It's only up and up from here, right? Things get better, only up from here. So the future, the past for all the lessons that I've learned and all my experiences and all the people that I've met, and family. Because actually for the first time this past week, I've been in America for 14 years. My family came to visit me because I had time off.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. So family.
I love that. Great shirt, by the way,
Yes.
too. Look at this.
Yeah.
He's got an alligator in one pocket and a flamingo in the other.
Yeah.
You can tell
Rolex. You can tell I'm from Florida.
You can tell this man lives in Florida. Styling and profiling here.
Yes, sir.
Raj, I'm excited for what's next for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I can't wait to watch the journey continue.
Yeah, I'm excited, and hopefully we get to do this again sometime.
Let's do it.
Appreciate it.